You will get a professorship in the UK very easily. You have to get it.
She is at the King's College London, isn't it? Fantastic, at least this one was right. Exploring a new paradigm in space physiology. Are you ready?
I am.
8 minutes, let's go.
Thank you, Gaspare. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you to the Physiological Society for having me here. I'm Irene. It's nice to be back. I used to study not too far away. Elena, we studied together. I can't believe that we are all back here, about 20 years later. As Gaspare said, I'm proposing a new paradigm in space physiology. But before I start, just to say very briefly, I'm thankful to the Physiological Society for having me here. This is the 150th year of the Society. I am one of the themes lead for the Society, in particular the theme Human, Environmental and Exercise Physiology. I'm almost ashamed to say that I'm a member since 2010 when the meeting was in Manchester and Mark organized the IRM symposium of that year. We also do loads of meetings, so I know you have the Italian Physiological Society, but consider the British or the Physiological Society. Membership is amazing. I'm very, very grateful, so consider we have loads of meetings. One day we organize a case that may be relevant to you. We are organizing the next iteration in 2027. Work in progress now. Maybe in 2027 you can come and present it. So I am in a very different journey from most talks today. If I think about ideas, setup, pilot, I'm very much in the start phase of an experiment. I don't have results, I don't have conclusion, I have lots of questions, and I need your help. So that's why it says officially I put together an abstract. I'm going to discuss disability and the I-Inspire project. So NASA a few years ago published the 5 hazards of human space flight. Most of you know of them all. Space radiation, isolation, distance from Earth, gravity, and the hostile and confined environment. Essentially, all these things affect the human body in some way or another. Space is bad for you, essentially. This is the idea. Humans are not made for space. Well, my question is, are humans or are typical astronauts not made for space? And I've been working for a long time on this. Funding was always difficult to get, but in 2021 we convinced the European Space Agency to actually launch what they call at the time the Para-Astronaut Feasibility Project. They selected, or they put out criteria to select a new astronaut as part of their main astronaut corps with 3 types of physical impairment: short stature, leg length asymmetry, and amputation. Originally it was unilateral amputation. We pushed them. We managed to get bilateral amputation because my physiological hypothesis is a bilateral leg amputee is a better astronaut than an able-bodied astronaut. So, about a year later, the new astronaut corps was announced, and in green there you see John McFall, who is British, but will be the first astronaut with a physical impairment. He's an ex-para-athlete, he has a lower limb amputation, unilateral, and last year was cleared for a mission. He's a reserve astronaut, so he's not a confirmed mission unless the UK Space Agency pays for it, probably, but this is what we've been working on. And about a year ago, there was a call for doing experiments especially on John. So essentially, we were lucky that the European Space Agency decided to just fund or select science on John, which is one of its kind. And thanks to my dear friend, Professor Jörg Robert-Vega, which I was a symposium in his memory yesterday in Cologne, I was able to put together an international team of people, and we proposed this I-Inspire project. We have a problem. John, N01. Scientifically, how can we justify that? So I decided to put together experts in Europe, and test everything that we think can change in somebody with a lower limb amputation from a physiological perspective. So we are proposing Design Inspire project, which will test and compare John's responses to other astronauts in terms of muscle, bone, brain, thermoregulatory regulation, cardiovascular system, immune system, and redox system. So we're doing that in one person cross-sectionally and also doing that longitudinally. My hypothesis is John is a better candidate than most astronauts in terms of musculoskeletal. Earlier on, Emanuele was saying, yes, the lower limb are the ones that go, the muscles and the bones. Well, if you don't have them, then maybe we have a chance. Cardiovascularly, potentially, the difference in blood, the difference in the gravitational pull towards the brain may actually be beneficial for somebody like John. However, we do have a problem. There is a potential with thermoregulation, so people with an amputation have a limited thermoregulative drive. But that's okay. But we are trying to keep a tab on that. So that's all right. I'm almost there. The thing is, I haven't told you why I need a form yet. Okay, so, however, because we're testing John in a year or two, we're doing a pilot in 3 weeks. That's where I need your help. We are testing amputees in my lab on a TIL test. A TIL test is just an acute way to simulate some of the gravitational changes, and we're doing a -6 degrees at down TIL test. The problem we've got is we're trying to test these amputees, and I don't know many people have done a TIL test on amputees. And your passing also is problematic from a scientific perspective because we need to test the musculoskeletal system, and the only thing we can use is ultrasound. And I know I could have emailed some of my friends who are experts in the ultrasound world, but here I am asking you. I only found one thesis that actually looked at ultrasound in people with amputation and compared with MRI, and they essentially looked at thickness as the only measurement for muscle changes. And because I have 25 seconds, what they end up doing is looking at loads of areas here, lots of areas in the lower limb, and also only looked at thickness. And from that thickness, from the ultrasound, they end up with these equations. In the thesis, we went through this equation, the regression, new equations. So these are the end equations, and I would like to discuss them with you because essentially the question is thickness the best way to do this? How can we do ultrasound on people with different type of amputation at different levels? And finally, if anybody's involved, we are always looking for experts to join our team. And we have a community of people with disabilities that help us in our research. And with that, I thank you all.
Thank you.
Definitely a different point of view. I have to be honest, I didn't have thought about that, and there are a lot of challenges and possibilities, so it's very, very interesting. Who is the first?
Thank you for the great presentation, really fascinating perspective. I just have an uninformed curiosity, which is, could it also be that para-astronauts maybe in some cases be better suited to coping with the effects of space flight because of something like a reverse causation? I mean, an amputee has already gone through a condition which has altered the way they can move, but if we are selecting amputees that have, for instance, good mobility, good quality of life, we are already conditioning to the fact that there are people who can cope well with that kind of alteration. So it's like, can it also be another perspective? This is just a curiosity.
Just to understand, are you asking more the physiological element of going through the amputation, or are you asking about the physiological changes to the amputation.
No, I'm not asking about the second. I'm asking about something like the first. If an amputee has undergone an amputation, but then we select for a parastronaut program, then that person, we are already conditioning the selection process to the fact that people can undergo and adapt to that great change. So maybe we are selecting good adapters somehow. Again, it's an uninformed curiosity.
And yes, and maybe my answer is not very informed, but yes, so our community of people with disability and lived experience of disability believes also, and strongly believe, that astronauts with a disability are better suited to be prodded, to be selected, to do things that, or to be told what to do because of that trauma, because of that experience, because of coping with barriers every day of their lives. So always trying a way around, which is a typical skill that astronaut has to develop.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
I just wanted to follow up on your ultrasound imaging question. You could just use 3D ultrasound, which should be relatively cheap to set up. You need a motion capture system, an ultrasound transducer, Stradwin software.
Well, yes and no. So this is not the only thing we're doing. We are doing the cardiovascular, we are doing the temperature, we are doing the stress, we are doing the balance pre and post. So the ultrasound has to happen on the bed where we are, and my motion capture is in another room. I cannot move the bed, I
Can you buy another motion capture?
Come on.
Sorry, no.
The OptiTrack is pretty cheap.
You can add lots more.
Yeah, I mean nowadays the cool part is, thanks to AI and also just a simple IMU, you can actually have 3D ultrasound and image location in the space without motion capture. So you do reconstruction with just the ultrasound itself basically. Maybe a critical point regarding your fitness measure is, of course, if there is a huge loss of muscle mass, even if you go in the same location, that location for the muscle probably doesn't exist anymore. So probably comparing them, even if you use bone landmark as reference, maybe it's not the best way to do it.
Maybe I wasn't clear, or maybe I didn't understand your question. We are doing a tilt test for 15 minutes, and we're doing pre and post ultrasound.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I thought in a long way.
For the space mission, we're using MRI for job.
I have to move the discussion to the coffee break,
Thank you.
and thank you very much, Irene, for